For me, it just makes me realize my nipples are erect, and that's when I know I'm excited. That's all.
Whoa. We are live and we were recording. Before we begin, let's start out with some mentions of some great stuff, you guys. Pack Filler Online Store is doing very well. Not literally. Well, no, it is literally. But we are moving merch, shirts, mugs, caps. The hats are here. They're behind David, if you can see them on the fridge there. Socks, stickers, and even jerseys are in stock and ready to print and send. Check out what's available and show your Pack Filler pride. These are what we call limited runs. Or kind of how we all probably felt on New Year's Day. As we make them all, I make them all. Who am I saying we? I make them all right here, so get them before they're gone. And next off, untapped maple, pure Vermont maple syrup is the core. Clean energy is the result. If you haven't tried it, you're missing out. Easy to digest. Great flavor options to replace that muck you've been ingesting in your rides. That really thick stuff. If you have to pound half your water bottle after your gel, it's not the right stuff. And their Stroop waffles are truly a work of art, especially with your morning coffee. Next off, Athletic Brewing. That's right, non-alcoholic brew is the best thing to hit in 2023, and Athletic was first. They're also the best, if you ask me. Great flavor profiles, variety, and some great causes that they support, like trail maintenance and trail building and all that wonderful stuff. Use the link at Pack Filler and get in on the healthy drinking movement. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say in my entire life. Healthy drinking movement. Yeah, let's go play bikes. I'm a healthy drinker.
Yeah.
Socially. What did we say? Damp January?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Moist
January.
Well, there's damp, and then you go to moist, and then there's saturation.
Then there's just wet.
Yeah.
Monsooning.
Monsooning
For me so far.
It is Tuesday. The beverages are poured. Hopefully I won't break a glass. Guys, I broke 2 last week. I broke that one during the show, and then I broke my Empire State Building glass.
Yeah.
I came down here, and I hit another one off the same way.
Why are you so bitter?
I don't know what's going on. I think something's wrong with me. I'm losing control. The cameras and the mics are on, and we are live in the Rim Break Bar for another edition of the longest-running podcast talking about bikes. That's true.
Is it?
Longest running.
Wow.
Yep. There was one other big one that started before I did in my basement. Actually, over there, it was even more depressing, and that was the Fredcast. That was basically the first. So
Is that also
he
you?
hasn't produced.
he's gone. He hasn't done anything since like early
10 years?
2000s.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd guess
20.
at least that. Yeah. This is the Pack Filler Cycling Podcast. I'm Pat Bulger. Cast of characters are here with 9% ABV on tonight's drinks. Oh, David didn't do it though. No. Prepare for some emotional silliness. Tonight's prologue question for our panel: name a recent movie or TV show that affected you in an extreme positive or negative way that you've seen recently. Movie or TV show, because I have one and I want you guys to know the one I watched. First off, he's got beer, bikes, and coffee on his mind at all times. That is a proven fact, Mr. Paul Main.
Yeah.
How are you, man?
Doing well, thanks.
A movie that, wow, the theme's over that quickly. A movie or TV show that bothered you in a good or bad way. Like one of those ones that you sit up afterwards going, wow, I really like that. Or, wow, that was really messed up.
No, I really liked that. That was Apple TV series of slow horses.
My wife and I just finished the third season? Second season.
Yeah.
Great show.
So you've seen the whole series?
Yes, we've caught all the way up.
Renee, my wife, read the books before. She goes, and when she saw it pop up, she's like, oh my God. I have to see if it matches the book because this is unbelievable. And then in the book series, somebody always dies. But you learn all the characters, you learn how they got into Slow House.
It is a great series. Gary Oldman, one of the best.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. He's not afraid to look like an
Jackson
absolute...
Lamb.
Yeah. He's so good.
Farts anytime he wants.
Highly recommend. Yeah.
He's just a pig.
Oh, yeah. Michelle, my wife would be happy to know you like that.
Absolutely.
We just started it, and we were finished with it in 10 days.
Oh, yeah. It's easily binged.
Yeah, it's good. Next off, he's not here, but he's got an unhealthy obsession with Top Gun. Mr. Sam Waples.
Yeah.
Can you explain your brother's problem with or crush on Tom Cruise or something like that?
I mean, I also watch. I don't watch it quite as much as him, but
You watched
Really?
Wonder Woman.
yeah, well, amongst other things, yeah.
All right. His introduction is he's got his own effing theme music, Dr. David Waples. Notice I said doctor this time.
Oh, it's so kind. Thank you.
Well, don't get used to it. What's a movie or a TV show that affected you in a good or bad way?
I think Jackson mentioned this one a couple weeks back. Dope Sick on Hulu. Did you mention Dope Sick? I thought you were the one talking about it.
Dope sick.
It's about Purdue Pharma and the opiate epidemic, and it just hit way too close to home. I was just like,
Oh man.
it's very. I mean, it's dramatized, but
Yeah.
it's it's supposed to be based off of real events. But
Is Matthew Broderick in it? Is that who is?
I'm so bad with characters.
Yeah, I think that's
Really?
It's on Netflix,
I think it's on Hulu.
Hulu.
If I remember
Dope
correctly,
sick.
yeah. But it's about how like Purdue Pharma basically like lied and advertised OxyContin as
Oh,
non-addictive, and then I mean it hit too close to home. So
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, we binged that, and because I had to get it over with so I could stop thinking about it.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it was like
Don't
because it was
keep-
making me so angry.
Keep that shit out of my fridge. 2 of them burst in my fridge.
Because it's water.
I just had to clean out my fridge. I should have shown you the destroyed cans. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
There was a Bud Zero and a Heineken
Zero?
Zero in my fridge,
in
and both of
there?
them. No, in there, both of them broke.
To be fair, is that his fault or is that the fridge's fault?
None of the other beers broke.
Yours didn't break your cider.
Well, yeah, because but still, like,
in my fridge.
Oh, that's because you probably drink it all. Sam's here, everybody.
Yeah, and he's making all the
He's
noise.
drinking this crap garbage beer. Sam, has there been a movie or a TV show that has affected you deeply in one way or another, like positive or negative? Like you stay up a while afterwards going, what the hell?
Yeah.
What was it? If you say Top Gun.
Okay. So I think like first like visceral response to it would have to be, well, if you didn't cry during Ted Lasso.
I haven't
Then you
seen
have no
season
soul.
3.
oh yeah, amen to that.
I must be a robot.
Oh man,
Sam's a
season
robot.
3, I just like tears were just pouring. I'm like covering my wife's eyes. I'm like, don't look at me.
So
wow. It's
But-
okay to cry.
Yeah.
It's okay
But,
to cry, Sam. It's okay.
No, it's not.
Did you ever watch that movie like Boy in the Striped Pajamas?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
That.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Oh. That one tears you up.
Wow.
That is bad.
Okay. Okay. Next off, he's got tickets to Arizona and permission to enter the Tour de Bloom, Mr. Jackson Bolger. It's like
yep,
independent Jerry.
Everybody drink.
yeah. I'm excited for all the upcoming plans, this year.
Yeah.
Movie wise, though, to answer our question,
Yeah.
I recently watched with my wife. We watched the new Hunger Games movie, The Ballad of Songbirds
I'm
and
reading
Snakes.
that book right now.
I will say, as somebody who majored in acting,
Yeah.
especially at the end, because there's a huge twist at the end that I was like that my wife was like, you're gonna be shocked at how it ends, and
Really?
I was very much like, whoa, I did not expect this to happen. But there's a point near the end where he doesn't the main character doesn't say
Corleone Snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who becomes Donald Sutherland. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
there is like a maybe 10-15 minute scene where he doesn't say a word, but he has an entire emotional and character change, and he doesn't say a word the whole time.
Oh,
and it's like
God.
I said, as somebody who studied acting, it's like, wow, that is really powerful and like very well thought out and like studied the character inside and out. I really recommend
It's
this
not
movie.
going to end happy, is it?
I'm not going to tell you
Because
But-
Well, he
I'm not.
becomes.
Yeah,
He becomes who
yeah,
he
yeah,
is.
So you know that.
But the thing is, okay, I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie. I'm listening to the book while I'm on the trainer. I've got it on Audible, and I'm loving the book. But the whole time I'm going, I'm actually gaining sympathy for the villain, and I'm starting to understand why he did the things he did. For example, the song that Katniss sings, "Are you going to the tree?" You find the origin of that song, and then Katniss sings it later on, and you understand why he's pissed off at her for singing the song.
It's like the end is a crazy,
It's a
crazy
great
point.
effing book, and I'm gonna watch it as soon as I finish the book.
Like I said, you would appreciate it because
Okay.
studied acting and everything.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it is
Isn't
like,
it
powerful.
2.5 hours too.
It's worth it.
Movies.
I
like
know.
that are
I
just
made
going
it through
crazy.
True Trainer rides before this ass clown at the end of the table had paid $20 to rent it for 48 hours instead of $25 to buy it. So I didn't get through it.
You know what?
Save
That's
$5.
all I do anymore. I buy the movies.
It's $5 difference.
Yeah, and I
I
have
would have paid the $5 difference.
I have massive regrets, like Jurassic World. I bought
Oh,
horrible piece of shit movie.
I mean, but like
Piece
some
of
of them, like
shit
if
movie.
you're, but if it's that
High
close,
students.
I would still
Yeah.
buy
Yeah, it's
it.
$5.
even if it's
I
bad.
bought it. Yeah,
We
so-
bought it, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Introductions. Me, I've got 10 pounds to lose. I'm
Me
Pat Bulger.
too.
And I'm going to say this. My wife went to bed early because she got the COVID booster this weekend, and she was feeling like absolute garbage. She got COVID and flu, both one go, and so I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch a movie. So I'm scrolling through, and I found the movie Hereditary, which I have not seen, and none of you have apparently seen it. Jackson, have you seen
I've
it?
heard about this
Have
movie.
any of you guys seen it? It is a horror movie. It is kind of a ghosts, occult kind of a thing like that. I finished the movie at 11:30 p.m. I was up until 1:30, lying flat on my back going, what the hell did I just see? Oh my God. It was so messed up.
It's like one of the scariest movies of all time in a lot of people's books.
Really?
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's a
the
horror
acting,
movie?
Yes.
I don't
The
think that in my
acting
life.
across the board, unbelievable. But it messed me up. I can think about it right now, and it messed me up even more. And now it's like going, my algorithm on Netflix and all that things is going like, well, you should watch Saltburn next, which I hear is really effed up. And then they're saying you should watch Midsummer next.
I've heard Midsommar
which
is
is also
crazy.
really effed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It was.
So there we go.
I don't
Yeah,
like those.
I said I needed to lose 10 pounds. I lost at least a pound and a half watching that movie.
in tears or
Just
Sweat.
just walking around the room going, what? I was, oh God, it was so gross. Okay, gentlemen, talk to me. How's your cycling life been over the past week? Now that we're 13 minutes into the show.
I'll go first. It's been great.
Good?
Yep.
You were just saying, I think we were live when you said that you were weights and...
Yeah, I think I said it just prior.
Strength
I've been
and?
trying to do weights and then strength, or ride and then strength afterwards. I think that's just a good habit to continue with.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Nice.
Okay, NA boy. Are you dry January?
No,
dry-ish.
not even close.
David saw Saturday. Okay, Saturday was our best friend's birthday, and so we celebrated by going downtown, and I got a couple cocktails. You know, like it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
A couple croc tails.
Yeah.
So is that, are you still recovering? Is that why you're drinking this? And by the
No,
way,
I am
do
gonna
have
not-
several of our sponsors' beers.
Well, I didn't
Athletic
know
Brewing,
that.
in the fridge.
I
You
didn't
keep
know
bringing
that.
over this absolute.
Well, I'll drink that next.
Heineken's not German; it's Dutch,
not
right?
Dutch.
It is. Yeah, it's Dutch. Yeah.
It's fine. It's
Um,
basically flavored water.
How's your cycling?
It's good. So I'm doing Tour de Bloom, right? And because of drink.
I'm taking baby sips here now. When you guys
Because
keep
of that,
in this race,
I was like, well, I don't have enough time in my life. I've now started the basement bathroom project that I'm doing, and
just urinal.
No, that would be great. Yeah, full bathroom, laundry room. But I was like, I don't have enough time to do all this. So to make a long story long, I'm like, how do I make up for that aerobic fitness and other aspects of my life? So I did Monday. You know, that's strength training.
Yeah.
But I've been walking to work.
No.
30-minute walk in the morning. You know, it's nice, easy. Heart rate's probably somewhere around the 140. But it takes me like 30 minutes to get there. Either I will walk home, bike home, or get a ride home. But it's nice. Like, I mean, just like it's all about just getting a little bit more time in that aerobic state, boost metabolism, all that. But yeah, so I've been adding that in with just the rides that I've already been doing, which is 3 or 4 days a week.
That walk is going to suck donkey balls on Friday.
I won't be here. I'll be in Arizona.
Oh, because
better.
the high is going to be 10
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks for you.
Low
chumps.
is going to be -3 Fahrenheit. My 7 Fahrenheit.
I saw
Yeah,
7.
it's going to be, but it's going to be beautiful. Paul, cycling life, good, bad, indifferent.
I've been getting on, but I can't last more than a half hour.
Really?
Yeah, since I've been sick. So,
Oh shit!
yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'm exhausted. Heart rate is up. Everything.
Wasn't COVID?
No, it was flu.
Wow.
Yeah, both my
Shit.
wife and I tested. It was not COVID.
Wow.
I had COVID in March. I would have taken that any day
Yeah.
compared to this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
It just knocked the hell out of me.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that's about it. I'm bummed, but I know I'll get it back. But it just feels like I'm really at zero. I'm really. At
Oh,
zero.
I thought I was at 0 last year, but no, this is 0.
No, yeah.
It's all new zero.
Yeah.
Redefines it. It's the new math zero.
Yeah.
David, you were saying when you walked in, you were strutting in like my schedule is good.
My schedule is good, yeah. So I was like starting to get tired of how much Trainer Road was having me train, and then this last 2 weeks I've had a pretty good schedule, and so I'm still doing like 5 days a week. And I thought about you on Sunday
Me?
because I went skiing, and then I came home and I was like, do I need to ride? And I was like, yeah, I probably should ride too. And I did another hour on the trainer.
Wow.
Because it's not really like, I mean, I hurt actually, to be fair. My like little muscles hurt after skiing, but it was a pow day. It was
Wow.
like 6 inches of pow that day.
I haven't even
we did, like-
taken my skis out.
Well, last weekend was like the first. Today would have been
Yeah.
amazing. We got a foot at every one of the local
Yeah.
mountains, and it was
Yeah.
a Tuesday, so nobody would have been there. But
Yeah.
I had my 2 hours of work to do.
I
My
took
God.
I took to heart what Jackson said about embracing my inner and exterior body type last week.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, "Dad, you should just be calm. You should just embrace it. You're a big
A
guy.
large human.
I'm a big guy.
You're built like you're built sturdy. It's
Yeah,
not a bad
but
thing.
like Arnaud
Different.
Demar here. You know? Yeah, with a little Filippo Ganna mixed in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
well,
totally.
like same body types though. Like Sagan type of body type. Like
There we go.
yeah, yeah,
like-
yeah.
Yeah,
God.
that's right. Yeah.
yeah.
I have been on the guys. And I'm working on power and sprint. I'm going to do that. I'm going to embrace that. And I've been working on the bike 3 times, and I've been putting in a lot more strength training. I'm doing I'm doing the work. I'm not baby stepping. That's a movie reference. What about Bob? And I'm doing the squat challenge in my office on weekdays. And today I did 280. Jesus. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And the weights, and Sam's gonna give me shit. My shoulders are feeling a lot better because of the strength training.
Yeah.
I can
Crazy,
actually
right?
sleep on. I can sleep on my side for more than about 6 minutes now,
Wow.
without slowly rolling onto my back like an old man going. It's so bad usually. It's like, you ever like in a movie theater and you put your arms up onto the sides of the chairs. I'll do that when I'm in the theater or something like that, watching a rehearsal, and then I'll have to almost grab my right arm and pick it up and bring it over back down because
That's
it
so
hurts much
bad.
'cause my shoulders so bad. But they're feeling better now, so that's good. So that is very good. So I'm enjoying that.
You guys weren't at strength training last night, though.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. We all seem to be bailing on Mondays, but you're hitting it there. So, how are things going? What is it?
It's just a circuit. Like
Yeah.
they just lay out different like circuit workouts, and yeah. Yesterday, since I know the trainer, she's like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Glutes and core." She took that serious, and that's
Oh.
all we did. And
Oh.
I can barely sit up straight today.
Really?
Yeah.
How many people?
Oh, there was only like 4 people.
Wow.
It's awesome.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's okay, isn't it? What's class size?
I
Max?
love. I mean, like I think
Was Danielle there?
15 you could fit. Oh yeah, maybe there was more.
Was she was there?
No, Danielle was there, so I think yeah.
My
anyway.
wife told me she was there.
Yeah.
Where was she?
Yeah,
Danielle, no, not again.
but no, I think they can hold 15 like comfortably. But that's kind of the benefit of this place is it's small class size.
What's the place, Sam?
Tailwind Fitness.
There we go.
Yeah.
I keep putting an S on that.
Tailwinds.
Tailwinds.
Oh, do
Yeah,
you
a
go
lot
to
of
Fred
people
Meyer's
do.
and Costco's as well?
And
Is that what
Legos.
Nordstrom's
Do you go to-
Legos
Yeah,
is-
Legos.
and the Facebooks.
yeah, is that what you? I don't know. Character
Shut up,
flaw.
David. I liked you better when you were quiet. What do you guys do off the bike? David was mentioning skiing. Does anybody do? Jackson was mentioning strength training. You're mentioning your strength
Walking,
training.
and strength training, but I mean, normally I'd be cross country skiing, but
Yeah.
not this year.
Paul wins the stair.
No, I'm not doing
It's not going to
that.
happen this year
No,
anymore.
No.
That was a great
I
tradition.
loved it. Yeah.
How many steps? This
Six-
is a
63 steps.
a nearby
Stair.
strange.
Everybody has one in their city,
Yeah.
Very sure.
unless you live in Kansas or something.
Well,
And
they
it's all
probably is.
flat.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, no one knew who built those.
Really?
And the mystery finally was solved like last month. My wife says, hey, they finally found records. The city actually put it in 1910.
Wow.
Wow.
And
I
it
mean,
was
they look
because
like
of
it.
the people who lived up on that part had servants or people who worked
Below.
below.
I think
And
that was an
was
article. I
yeah,
read that.
Yeah. And there was a tram, too, that would drop off in
Wow.
that area. That's how
Oh,
they
wow.
got up on
That's
top.
interesting.
The servants need some steps
Yeah.
in which to get up here because they're too tired when they arrive.
Yeah.
And I need them to bring me my parboiled egg.
You
are
really
potted
good at that.
Servant, bring me my.
Oh, I've been strictly on Ruby. I have to say, I wish they're not giving me a penny, and I'm mentioning them every effing show. I like the real world writing. I like the fact that you can do it first person, where you're not seeing any other digital bikes anywhere. And it is tougher. Somebody mentioned this to me online when I was talking about it in one of our social medias, that they said, I find it hard to do the climbs, and it is harder.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, if you're on Ruby and you're riding at 70% of maximum, it's okay. You're not tricking yourself, because the climbs on Ruby at full 100% real efforts, they don't exist on Zwift.
No.
It is something's wrong with the software that I think it's harder. I don't know about
I think,
you. What
well,
you
yeah.
think.
To me, it's more realistic. There's times where, like, Zwift, I'm like climbing, hills, and I'm like, I wouldn't be in that gear. This is too high for
Yeah.
this. And I did. I've done all the Flanders.
Yeah.
The last 50K, and you hit these 22%. You really get the feel of what they're going through. When pros step off their bike on the Koppenberg at 22%,
Yeah.
I was standing up going, I might not be able to make it. So I know what that's like. I mean, that's realistic. And I couldn't finish. I tried to do it. My last workout was Strada Bianca, the Tuscany one.
Those are brutal.
Jesus. Yeah.
I now know why that race is so absolutely horrendous, because those climbs just pop out of nowhere, and there's
And I would strongly suggest anybody, because they still have that 14-day trial.
Yeah.
Just try those, and I did the other one is Gerardsberger was the first one, because that's
I did that yesterday.
Muir. That it was that
cool.
was another one.
And you go by the chapel.
Yeah, get to the top. That's the
It's
finish.
like, oh, that's what Paul
But
was
that
talking
section is 20%.
Yeah.
When you get through the mall area and lower, and then that section right before you get there, it's like, oh my god.
And you can do what you guys are doing, the lines watching. I'm doing an Andy Schleck's base training program right now. I did a speed workout, and they're good. You can follow the line if you want.
It's lines and movies, okay?
Yeah,
Currently,
you can't.
I'm
I
doing-
don't think you can minimize it and just leave the lines up and watch a movie.
Watch Top Gun.
Currently, I'm doing lines and John Wick. So
Oh, it is on Netflix.
By the way,
that's my next series.
Sounds like a horrific drug problem. I'm doing lines and John Wick.
yeah.
Honestly, those would go together.
Yeah. The John Wick series is good.
It's so good.
By the way, David, I instead of renting those movies, I bought them.
Oh, they're on.
They're
Netflix.
free for
Yeah,
Netflix.
Well,
Oh,
free because you use your mom's.
Nice.
there's a joke in there. There is a joke in there. Is anybody trying anything new for your preparation for 2024? Jackson, are you doing anything new, or is it?
I mean,
Not to be repetitive. It sounds like I'm being repetitive.
No.
Strength is repetitive.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just the strength of it all. I am trying to commit to that just because I think that has been severely lacking within my past few years, and I find that now I can sit in a position on the bike that feels more relaxed in the shoulders, but a lot more like powerful through the legs and everything. So I'm happy with how it's going, and I think that I don't know. I saw something the other day that was like, in 4 weeks you'll feel results. In 12 weeks you'll see results. Oh. So it's like it's one of those things. It's like it's so hard to wait for that stuff. You're like, man, I'm a month in. Why don't I instantly have a 6-pack and I'm jacked? You know. But it's one of those things that I'm just sticking with because I do feel. It's been over 4 weeks and I do feel the differences. So it's been something that I'm very happy that I picked up, and I'll probably continue the same regimen year round.
Sam, you mentioned a training camp in the spring.
Yeah.
You threw it out there. I think we've done this every year. For people who have been on with this show, except for when I was doing it alone, as a collective group, we've always gone like, hey, we should do a training camp, a 3 to 4 day training camp. That'd be fun. Yeah, let's do it, bro. Yeah, we got the dates. We're doing it.
Oh, I can't make it. I'm not going to be able to be there, guys. I can't make it.
My first question, and Paul, you did one last year. You did your Arizona trip.
No,
No,
it
Palm
was
Springs,
in
right?
California.
Palm Desert.
Because
Oh,
this
that
got
is
me thinking when
California.
Jackson said he was going to Sedona, and I was like, going, are you bringing your bike? Are you bringing your bike?
No chance in hell.
That's too bad.
No, it's not. I like not bringing my bike on vacation.
Who are you?
How long are you gone for?
It gives me anxiety.
From the, I want to say like midweek, first week of April to that Sunday. So I'm
5 days ish.
Yeah, it's just like one of those things.
It is
where
a
it's
lot
like,
of work for 5 days because if you travel all that, you're probably gonna get 3 days of riding ish.
and it's a
Plus
vacation.
his wife wants him to spend time with him.
Well, and I want
No,
and I
he
want to spend
wants to
time with them.
people.
You know.
Yeah.
No,
So-
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean that as like, yes, dear.
No, I know. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, talk to me about the design and the concept of a 1 week training camp. Is like, for example, what would you do over those? Because we were talking about like 3-4 days.
Yeah.
But what would you do? Would it be focused on intensity? Would it be focused on distance? Would it
Distance.
just LSD kind of?
I mean, kind of like it's going to
Zone
be faster
2,
than
zone
it is
3?
just like, I mean, back in the day, like in probably January, February, I'd be going out and do 100-mile bike rides, but they were so slow
Yeah.
and just chill rides. It would be a faster ride, but I would shoot for something in the like 60, 70-mile range.
Yeah.
But do that, like maybe more than that, but like do that for all the days that we're there. Like that compounds. And like every time that I go over and visit my friend in Bellingham that, kicks my teeth in every year, like it just takes a weekend and then I feel 10,000 times better after I recover.
Paul, what did you do on yours?
I rode. There were more longer distance type things.
Yeah.
We joined a couple of riding groups, or this one desert. I can't remember the name of the desert cycling club
Oh,
that Stu is involved with. He was, I think, treasurer, president, or something. And like a Thursday night, they ride out to Palm Springs, and it's called 1,000 Palms, and it's basically like a Worlds type. It's fast.
yeah.
You have one little climb.
Wednesday
and then-
Night
and
Worlds
you're
kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's fast, and those who want to go faster up front, and there's people that take it easy too. But we had a couple of days, I would say, that were pretty fast. But
How many days? Were you?
I think it was there 8 days.
Wow.
Yeah, 7
And
or 8 days.
Do you notice a big difference coming back from 7-8 days, or
Oh,
in
without
Sam
a doubt.
with 3-4 days, kind of a thing like that?
Yeah, I mean, because like I would say for me, I don't have base right now. Like I don't have distance, right? Because right now I'm doing hour and a half long rides.
Yeah.
So if I just do even a couple back to back, that just puts, it's not base, but it is going to allow me to see how my body responds at, 60, 70, 80 miles in.
I'm glad you mentioned base, because that is what I was going to ask. Is that an outdated term anymore? is a mileage because Paul, I keep thinking of our days when it was junk miles and
You
getting,
didn't touch your big chain ring till March.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, and it was just
was hard for
miles. Yeah, we just rotated them.
I mean, we did that too. I did that. But I think that like base is for the 20s. Like you don't have time for base when you get older.
Yeah.
Like who has time to go out and do, like 5-6 hour rides, in your 30s or even later 20s, hold a job down, marriage, or a significant other, whatever.
The mile heads are going to be texting me immediately.
Yeah, I know,
upon
but
hearing
it's-
this.
I welcome it. I'm just like, that time has to come from somewhere. I'm
Yeah.
a firm believer in it. And so it's like right now I can dedicate 5 hours a week on my bike and then just do a couple longer rides in the summer and I'm plenty fast.
I think for me, to me, a training camp, if you do it, it's a change of environment from where, you normally train. That helps. That's why I've done Borky back in the day in the 90s. We were there for I think Bork was there for maybe 2 months. I was there for over a month in Tempe, Arizona.
Yeah.
And we rode every day. We did, I think, 350 miles the first week, 400, 500, 600, and then we scaled back down. And just being in warmth and riding is so much. You come back rejuvenated.
Yeah.
And that was my decision to go down to Palm Desert, is because I wanted sunshine. Even if it was 40 degrees, it wasn't going to really jack me up until you start riding in 70 degrees. You're in shorts, and it's a different thing. But
You did a 600-mile week?
yeah, we did. Yeah,
Holy crap. I thought that was cool last year. I had that 420-mile week.
it was.
Well, crush your dreams.
Hashtag 420.
We had nothing to do. See, we had no obligations.
Yeah.
We-
That's awesome.
None of us lived. We got a hotel. We had no furniture. We slept on the floor.
I mean, that's what a training camp
You
is
know.
to me. You just
we had a
take,
TV that was 4-inch black and white screen
Oh,
TV.
jeez.
I mean, I ate beans and rice and cheese and
That's exactly what a training camp is to me. You just like separate yourself from everything else and just ride your bike. And I mean, beans and rice, kind of.
Occasionally, they'd go out to a piano bar at night,
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
dance to the
we found a good
Oh,
coffee
yeah.
place there,
dance
too.
the two steps with all the sweet honeys in the neighborhood.
Oh my God.
I agree though. I agree with all that.
Where would be your realistic yet ideal training camp location?
San Luis Obispo.
Where?
San Luis Obispo.
San Luis Obispo.
That's where I went last year.
Jackson.
I don't know how bad I really want to fly with my bike.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So I think maybe like I don't know. Maybe I spent a lot of time in Portland, obviously, so I know a lot of riding there is temperate year round. But
okay.
maybe like
So is it at the canal?
maybe like a west side of the state. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
You're a Hood Canal.
I mean, if we're talking like, the most accessible, but my preferred is Maui.
Do they
I'll
have
be there.
shrimp burritos at the Hood Canal?
what is it with you and the shrimp
Probably.
burritos?
It's so good. You do like a
Shrimp
really
are-
long ride, and then you just pick up like a $5 shrimp burrito.
Shrimp have a face, Mr.
Not in my
Vegetarian
burrito,
boy.
they don't.
Mr. Vegetarian
Cut the
boy.
faces off.
Mr. Veggie, they cut the faces.
They also have those in San Luis Obispo. I will say this: they have those flank steak sandwiches.
What the heck? You guys are so hypocritical. You claim to
back
be
in the
dry
day. I
and then
don't
you
eat-
drink beer. You claim to be a vegetarian and then you eat a flank steak.
This was like
Vegetarian.
10 years ago.
This was 10 years
before-
ago.
before
Tri-tip,
we-
that
yeah.
was it. Tri-tip steak.
Tri-tip
oh my
sandwich,
god,
yeah.
those were good. You guys would destroy.
I can have it
those.
anytime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah. I could have it tomorrow.
You guys would destroy those.
I'm gonna have it
things.
tonight, just out of spite. Is anybody taking into account any dietary considerations, like being
Me.
like trying to maintain a low calorie diet or trying to restrict yourselves in any way like that? Or I'm just asking this for a friend.
High CO2.
High CO2.
Something that I've been thinking about, we haven't really changed our diet. Diet is not something that I plan on changing soon. I actually work out as much as I can so I can keep my diet.
Right?
You know? But I will say recently I purchased myself some scratch recovery. So like little like things here and there just to like kind of support my active lifestyle. You know, I think I'm trying to think about that.
on the scratch.
Yeah,
bell.
It's all good. Still there. Scratch. There, we got our money's worth. But I guess they got their money's worth if we're really saying it. But and then like I don't know, just like high protein things here and there. It's not really changing anything, but it's just thinking about it a little bit more than I did prior. You know? I don't know. I don't want to change too much because then I'll get stressed out again. But
No, that's what I've been doing this year in general is just not necessarily worrying about it because, I mean, usually this time of year I'd have downloaded the calorie counter and I've been logging in my food and all that kind of stuff. But this year I've just been kind of like, one of the great things is actually my wife and I have a food delivery box that comes with all the ingredients and we make it, you know, and stuff like that. And it's a larger portion than we need, but what's great is it makes it just enough for the two of us, and then I have a little bit for work the next day. And at lunch the next day, I've also been kind of cutting back what I do. So I'll take a little bit of that leftover and like an apple. And I'm surprised at how I'm actually quite okay. I'm not hungry, and those kind of things help. Thank you, sir.
I love that though, because it's like realistically, who in this room is going to be a professional cyclist within the next 10 years?
I'm hoping.
You know, aren't we all
hoping?
Yeah,
Got my application in.
But it's like it's great that we're not letting it like completely dictate our like enjoyment of life.
Yeah.
No.
I do follow a written schedule for drinking, unwritten schedule for drinking. I don't know about you guys. I'm gonna peel back.
I mean, I was drinking on podcast night and then like Friday night.
that was it.
Yeah.
That's what I still
And
try
then
to
in
do.
December, it just went all to hell.
Wow.
In the first part of January.
One day. Yeah, you're right, though. I
I
haven't been that many days in January.
I hold back from drinking until 5 p.m. That's my rule.
Wait, that's it? There's not days?
That's always been your rule.
It's always been the rule. Nightly news comes on, I can have a beer. That's when I come.
Wow,
Yeah.
you are trained. It's like
then-
Pavlov's dog.
And then I will allow myself 2 ounces of bourbon, and I will drink 2 ounces of bourbon a day. I'm not lying. I have a beer and 2 ounces of bourbon every day.
Nice.
You know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm not a nutritionist. It doesn't really matter though how close you're being on like all your nutrition if you're having that amount of alcohol
It's 2 drinks.
a day.
It's within
14 drinks a
within
week.
The recommended amount.
What is
for a
it?
meal.
What is it for men, David?
2 a day.
That is the upper
Yeah.
limit.
to prevent liver cirrhosis. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not talking about
So I got that going for
speed
me.
on a bike. We're just talking about the liver.
Hey, speaking of which, I want to ask you guys about your bad habits. We got to pull back the curtain. We got to reveal our inner soul about our bad habits, and have other cyclists agree with us that you know are slowing you down in terms of cycling and lifestyle. First question: sleep. How much sleep do you get on a regular basis? Be honest. Jackson's looking at his watch.
Oh no, I was just looking because I got a text.
I'm really bored right now.
No.
so-
Yeah. I'm actually sleeping with my eyes open. No, I try to get 7 hours of sleep on work nights. On weekend days, it's way more. It's probably like 8 or 9.
Okay.
But if I don't, is what it is. There you
Sam, what's your average night of
I
sleep?
miss those days. Honestly, up until I came back from Switzerland, I was 8 religiously.
Okay,
But it's
good.
like ever since then, I just can't sleep anymore. I don't I'll go to bed at like 11 and I'm up at 4. Last night I got
Impending doom of your midlife crisis.
That
kind
might
of
be it.
existential
yeah
dread.
the
what the
menopause-
fuck
menopause
have I
keeping
done
you
with
up.
myself?
yeah that
Menopause.
feels about
Menopause.
it.
Menopause. Menopause.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just wake up like it's whatever. But yeah,
Is it you're waking up thinking about, oh my God, I gotta work on the basement?
very
Or, oh my
rarely. It's
God.
actually
Really?
my back. It's, for some reason, I've like had wicked thoracic spine.
Oh, okay.
So I just wake up and I'm like, I guess I'll get up. Like this
Wow.
morning, I got up at 5:30. I went to bed at midnight.
Ew.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Jackson, what
Pretty
time do you
average.
go to bed?
I go to bed religiously. My latest bedtime is 11 p.m. Every
Oh
single
my
night.
God,
I
Paul,
missed that.
talk to me, Goose.
Mhm.
How? Talk to me about your sleep schedule.
I'm usually in bed by 10:30 or 11, and I wake up at 5:30.
So, Pat, what time do you go to bed?
9:30, 10,
I used to be that way.
and I wake up between 5:30 and 6.
I missed
Well,
that.
physiologically, you need less sleep the older you get.
Not this
Do you really?
physiologically older.
Not when you're
dude,
a prime specimen.
Fair enough.
walking, talking Adonis. Bitch. David, your sleep schedule has to be the most odd of all of us, especially because of what you were coming off of in terms of shift work and things like that.
Yeah.
How is your sleep schedule, and are you able to maintain, especially in all those absolute lunacy times? Because we know this affects performance.
Yeah, when I get into nights, I mean, there's no way I can perform well on a bike when I'm doing a prolonged stretch of nights. Like, you know, because you get 2 days off on the weekends.
Yeah.
You're going to flip, and then, like, you think you're going to all of a sudden be fast when you're supposed to be asleep.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. But now that I've been routinely on days, I mean, I shoot for 7 to 8 a night on average. I mean, as soon as my schedule calmed down a couple weeks back, I had like 3 days where I slept 10 hours.
Wow.
It was so great. And then I found that I couldn't sleep the next night, and so I actually have to like keep myself at 7 to 8, or I won't fall asleep the next night. And then it just like, you know, you stay up and then you're tired the next day, and it's not a good cycle. So
Yeah.
but 7 to 8 is usually good for me.
In terms of bad habits, if anybody has one they can throw out, great. But I'm going to keep going through my categories. How's everybody's diet? Do we all eat a completely healthy, well-balanced, completely no fast food, nothing like that?
So much hospital
kind of a diet.
food.
So much hospital food.
I eat at the hospital like 5 days a week for
Yeah.
lunch because I get free food.
Is it? It's the irony. I'm going to ask you: is a hospital diet not healthy?
Oh, absolutely not.
Why?
I don't know. It's cheap. Like I had a salad today, but it was like I
Processed.
call it ranch soup because I put more ranch in there than anything. And then
Ranch soup.
yeah, and then you know they have hot stuff it's fine. It's just super salty and
Yeah.
and that's why I take acid reflux meds every once in a while. It's because of the hospital food. When I don't eat there, I don't get acid reflux. So
I need to ask you after this for what you take for acid reflux. Just, you know,
yeah,
for a committed friend.
For a friend.
for a
Yeah.
Yeah. I will admit, I work in the industry where I have never seen more pizza and donuts floating around the building.
Yeah.
It is absolute lunacy. So I don't go to any public areas because I don't know if I really like donuts that much anyway.
yeah.
But they're always around, and or the Costco muffins or something like that, where people
Those
cut them
are
into quarters.
excellent.
And I'm just like going, just a
But
little
you'll
muffin.
eat it.
No,
right?
but
Like,
I
it's
don't.
like- no, but I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
if it's there, if it's in front of me, I would
But
be
you know
like,
what?
I
I'm
don't even
wondering
really
at
want
the
this.
end of this whole dance of life that I'm just gonna lie in bed and on the edge of my days, and Jackson will be there next to me and go, "Dad, is there anything you wish you did?" And I'll be like, "I wish I'd eaten more goddamn donuts." That'll be my last word, because it's just like, how much faster am I from not eating a quarter of a donut in the break room?
No, it's moderation. Like you can have a donut. You just can't have donuts every day for breakfast.
So you're giving me shit about a beer and a whiskey every night, but
Yeah, alcohol.
Well,
but I'm
you
not
know,
having the
not
donut.
the calories. Yeah,
But I'm
it's
not
the
having the
it's
donut.
alcohol.
Key word was moderation.
That's not moderation.
Some people would say 2 days moderation.
There we go.
Someone would say
I'm
that.
one of those people. Is anybody on a? Actually, no. Let me. In terms of your training, are you guys? David sounds like the only one who's really adhering to a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Must do. Sounds like the rest of us are all kind of logging in, looking at a cool workout, and going, "Yeah, that looks pretty brutal. I'll do that." What?
He got that from me.
Are
I
you
set him up
following-
on Trainer
Yeah, but
Road?
you-
But are you
Yeah.
following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Whatever the algorithm
I've
says,
had
you
to
have to do
change
it.
the days a couple times, but the ride stays the same. It's
Really?
like, oh, I don't have time on Monday. I'll do it on Tuesday.
Really?
But I follow the same program. I have for months. Yeah, I have. I could tell you what I'm doing tomorrow.
Wow.
Let me show you.
No.
No, I think we all
Want me to
believe
whip
you.
it out?
Not
Yeah.
interested.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of watch,
Jackson,
just to let you know.
You kind of log on and think about what you need to work on and then pick, right?
Yeah, so usually what it consists of is I know what my strengths are, and I know that it's that burst of power, that 15, 20 second burst of power, and that's probably my best quality. And so what I'll do is typically
So you're working your strengths?
well, let me get to where I'm going.
Sorry, I'm excited.
It's okay. I get it. What I do typically is I'll pick maybe one of the 3 ride days as like a sprint or like short attacking type of day. And then the other 2 days will be working on that longer sustained power. Weights is every day, and then the rest day is a weight day. So I never really have like a weight day or a rest day during those 4 days.
You're doing weights every day?
Every single day.
God, I got a lot of work to do.
But I'm only doing it with a 25-pound kettlebell. So really, is
That's
it like
a lot?
Yeah, but I'm not out there, bench pressing. So
Yeah. Well, you're missing out on massive gains, bro.
I know. I gotta wait those 12 weeks, as I
Have
said
you
before.
tried Joe Rogan's? What the fuck is Joe Rogan pushing on TikTok? I want to find Joe Rogan and punch him in his nuts that have
I
shriveled up to grapes.
Completely agree. Except he did suggest one song that I did really like.
Oh well, that's
So,
fine.
yeah,
That's fine.
I'll take that.
That's fine. Speaking of which, supplements. Does anybody supplement their diet with vitamins, with anything like that? Jackson, you do?
I take a daily vitamin every day.
You do?
And then I don't know if this counts as a supplement, but as I mentioned before, the scratch recovery every single day is kind of like
Every day.
Well, not every day. I will say one thing I did say earlier is I like the taste of it so much that sometimes I work out just so
Delicious.
I can earn that.
It's delicious.
What
It's
flavor?
Effing
Yeah.
delicious.
What
yeah,
flavor?
it's just chocolate.
I have
I
the
just,
chocolate.
it's just
I mix
classic.
chocolate
I like
in
it
the
warm.
coffee, and it is awesome.
But
That strawberry one hits in summer.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't know if that counts as a supplement, but I've been putting that in every single time after I work out, and
Wow.
I don't feel as fatigued or sore afterwards.
This
so.
was completely unintentional, but we are in the process of renegotiating with Scratch, so this is really well done, Jim. But nice
Wow.
job.
Well, it's the only one that works for my
They're the
temperamental
best.
belly.
Like
Are we
I
gonna go
have-
into this now? 'Cause I will.
No.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
But anybody? No, Paul,
I,
you
I,
shook your
I
head.
do. I do take a daily supplement, but because I have a problem with
Viagra
iron,
doesn't count.
Yeah.
iron has.
What'd you say doesn't count?
Viagra.
I don't
Daily.
have time for that.
That was not one of the 3.
Sometimes
Remember,
I-
bikes, beer,
yeah.
and coffee.
That's right.
Yeah.
Since I turned 50, the T levels have dropped, so we don't have to worry about that.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, nope.
When he
I,
gets in the shower,
Blowing
he's
in
just
the wind.
Yeah.
I think I've said it before. It's so, like how I feel about supplements personally. Like, other than the ones your doctor recommends, you should probably avoid supplementation. Daily vitamins are good. Iron, that's one we recommend if you have an iron problem. Vitamin D in this part of the world, good idea. But all the other things people are trying to like get their vitamin whatever this and that and like
Amino acids.
yeah,
and-
I
Get it in your
mean,
diet.
Yeah, you can't even verify what you're buying is actually what's advertised. There's
Mhm.
nobody regulating that stuff. So,
Wow.
but things like recovery drinks, daily multivitamins, those are good.
I'm taking
My-
a daily multivitamin.
Yep.
I'm taking glucosamine and chondroitin because I keep thinking I can find a magic cure for my shoulders.
There you go.
I'm taking red ginseng for my tinnitus, my scorching tinnitus, because I was in a rock band for most of the 90s, and I played drums, and I was
Wore
alive
flared
during the grind.
pants.
That's the 70s, you ass. Get your
He
decades
wasn't
right.
there. He doesn't know.
Jesus. Come on.
You weren't even a glit in your dad's eye at that time.
You were even itching your daddy's pants. Yeah, and so I've damaged my ears horribly. I realized that the day that David and I were on the same output for our headphones. He's like going, "Why is it so loud?" Well, it's because I'm deaf. Okay, how about what you know about your body? Does everybody in this room know their FTP?
Mm-hmm.
Paul?
Well,
I
Yeah,
guess I
yeah.
do because it based off of the 1 hour test at the 4DP or whatever it's
Yeah.
called I did last year.
Everybody in this room know their maximum heart rate.
Not anymore.
I haven't done that in a few.
Actual or just calculated?
I can make pretty good guess.
Yeah, calculate 220 minus your age.
Yeah.
That's what I use. Yeah, because it's generic enough, and I think I can get it higher.
I haven't used heart rate in like 3 years, so. I don't know.
Anybody know their lactate threshold?
No.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't matter if you're an amateur.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It is what it is.
I'm going to ask the most important thing, and this is where you're all going to be truthful with me. How many of us stretch on a regular basis?
No.
Liar. Jackson, you stretch on a regular basis?
Yeah, I make an attempt to stretch every single time before I. Well, it's before I lift. So every time before I lift, I try and stretch.
What kind of a stretch regimen? Just so I know.
After playing soccer for so many years, I have a couple of those stretches that I still do. It's obviously not, hip. I'm not opening up my hips.
Do you do the thing where you lift your knee up and flop
That's
it
why
to the
I
side?
that's why I said
that's
I'm
such
not,
a cool thing.
I'm
that
not
only
opening
soccer
up my
players
hips.
do.
Yeah, I'm not doing stuff like
that's
that.
the opening up your hips.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I don't do stuff like that, but like I'll lay on the ground. Yeah, I'll do
Baseball
like
stretch, just the.
yeah, do a big star on the ground. But things like that, I have about maybe like a 5-minute thing that I do. And
Okay.
helps me feel better, at least.
Sam, you raised your hand.
I do
You
do
do it
because
probably
I've
because
had
you
really,
have to as a work
well,
requirement.
first off, guiding people through it, I just do it with them at the time. But then also, man, it made a world of difference for me in my low back.
Yeah, okay.
So I love it. Yeah, I stretch regularly.
Paul?
I used to. I haven't. Honestly, haven't in the
I don't
last
either.
year.
I don't either.
I
David,
love
you
when
don't
I do. I
Yeah.
love it when I do. It's just I'm not disciplined.
I don't think I am either.
That's the problem,
I really need to work on it.
especially my QLs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh God.
Sam can't answer this, but bike positioning, do you work on your aerodynamics? I know Paul's like, you were like, I can't push the watts, but I work on aerodynamics. Is anybody focus on trying to find out strengthening for aerodynamic positioning? Does anybody think about that?
Today,
Asking for a friend who has huge effing shoulders
I guess what I try
that hurt.
Does
Yeah.
not
And the belly
hide in
rubs the
Peloton
top
well.
too.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
what I try and do is I try and like for interval training, for instance, sometimes I'll have like a minute, where I'll be in the hoods at one interval, and then at the other time I'll just be in the drops, just so I can like kind of even out the how I'm getting used to each body position.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if that's scientific at all, but that's what I do.
I need to get back into the drops. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in them in the last 10 years. Honestly, I spent a lot of times on the hoods and as I've ridden more and more, gotten back into it more and more. I'll catch myself where I'm a 90-degree angle on my elbows, but I'm still in the hoods. Does anybody think about that stuff?
Yeah, I think you'll appreciate this. When I first started racing, there's like some very fundamental moments that I remember. Well, not when I first started racing. It was when I first started watching bike racing. I didn't race at that time. Like I went to a race with Sam where he raced, and I just watched.
It's like,
Go,
brother!
I was just like, let's see what this is about.
so proud of you. I want to be like you
What
when
was
I
that?
grow up.
That would have been Cascade.
Oh yeah.
And I think nationals. I went to nationals
Mhm,
not
in
like
Salt
as a
Lake.
participant, just because I wanted to hang out with Sam. And
God, you
I
guys are adorable.
still remember. I still remember the announcers talking about how if you had good form, you would be able to like have a cup of water between your shoulder blades
Yeah.
throughout the race. Like your shoulders should be steady. They should be flat. You should be able to balance water on it.
And then
that
the
is-
announcer said, "It's on like Donkey Kong."
something like that.
That's a
yeah.
It
Dave.
is
That's a
what-
Dave
yeah,
Toll. That's a
it
Dave
is.
Toll. Yeah.
But that like stuck. I think about that a lot. I think about getting low, keeping my back flat, keeping the shoulders steady. And I mean, when I first started racing, there's pictures of me, and I'm just like, how did I get so? I was so focused on being as
Yeah.
flat as possible.
He has a very aggressive stance.
Really.
Yeah.
All right. Do you would you as a bike fit guy, would you encourage that, or would
You're
it
built
be
like
something?
him. The dude's very proportional, like torso to leg length and everything like that.
What
That
if
guy can
you're
get
I don't
low.
know 6'1"?
Shoulders are super
Jacked,
wide.
your hips are
shoulders.
crazy tight. No, I would not recommend it.
My hips are not crazy tight.
Your hips. We can do some
You haven't-
testing. Your
You
hips
haven't
are tight.
seen the motion in the ocean.
I can guarantee you, your hips are tight. And like that's
They're
enough for
not
me.
tight. They're toy.
They're tight.
Like a tiger.
Tight like a tiger. But yeah, so like for,
Jackson's just like, I'm gonna vomit now.
Well, I'm really interested to see what it's going to.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, I keep distracting
No,
the
you're
point.
good.
For me, like I do think about this. Like today when I was riding, I was down on the drops. I was down on forearms on the puppy paw position, and I'm like trying to hold that for as long as I can, and then I go down to the drops. So I try to be like in a more aggressive stance because that is a thing that you have to train to stay in that position. But I think that's really it. I don't worry about like changing my bike fit and lowering my stem. I feel like you can just lower your elbows and get down.
Mm-hmm.
God, I keep remembering in the 80s where we just like slammed the stem.
And you guys
Just-
had
But
this
we had
inverted.
if you look, our seat post we rode bigger bikes. I rode a 60. It's
Yeah.
2 centimeters shorter. So, I mean, everything's our drops were deeper.
Yeah.
So we were in that position. It was just that,
It's the same position. It's
yeah,
just
our
bike
head tubes were
geometry
taller
is
because
different.
we rode 2 centimeters bigger.
yeah.
So we had to slam. It just doesn't matter. But getting on that position, one thing I do catch myself on Ruby or whatever indoor training is I have a tendency watching the screen. I'm not in my riding position.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
You find yourself kind of a little more upper. I don't ride that way, so I'm training for the position I do not ride in, and it's weird. So I started watching the watts, and the watts will actually my speed picks up and stuff when I get to what I'm comfortable and used to.
Down low.
Yeah, down low.
Really?
But I'm straining my neck because my TV sits a little higher than I would on the road.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I thought, nah, I gotta just suffer to look up every once in a while. So,
Okay, be honest. How do you focus on mental training? Does anybody in here just focus on mental self-care, on mental strength, on anything like that? Jackson, you nodded right out of the gates.
Well,
What have I done to you?
No, it's not. It's not you. It's I just need to do it because I have. I go through anxious periods. And
Yeah.
So I think sometimes I just need to tell them, like, over the last year, I've really let myself know that, like, sometimes some of those days are going to come around and that's okay. I'm allowed to have those days. But, like, when it comes to the cycling part of it, like, confidence, I think in this sport is a huge key to any sort of success. And just being able to tell yourself, like, no, like, you're in the right spot. Like, you deserve to be in this race. And sometimes you have to tell yourself, like, no, like, you deserve to have the win. And so that's something that I've been like having to remind myself, especially over the past year where I kind of fell out of that practice, going back into that and just always like the positive self-talk I've found is like a really good avenue for me, at least. Just always like hyping myself up a little bit, because sometimes if you lose that, you can let those negative thoughts come in and then you can feel like shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would say I'm a very confident human, and I do not win a lot of bike races.
that's called overconfidence.
That was a perfect blend of confidence and self-deprecation within one sentence. That was nicely done.
There you go.
No,
Yeah.
Jay, that's I
Yeah,
like that.
that's
I
good.
like that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I would say that, I mean, it's just like last year I was doing the cold showers, because like it's something I don't want to do. And I think that like doing those things that you don't want to do are really important to me, because it's like, it's so easy to just, we're in a sport where you can pull the plug. You can pull the plug at any point. You just say, I'm done.
Yeah.
Right. And so like living in that discomfort, I think is like a lot of it is mental. Your body can go a lot further than you think.
Yeah.
So like for me, I love that. I love training and thinking things that I don't want to do, and then I'll do them.
So, riding the bike for me is taking care of myself mentally.
Yeah.
I feel like I've said that on multiple occasions, that like that is like, I think my job is so draining that I get on the bike to recharge. So, I mean, if I wasn't between mountain biking, road biking, and cross biking, I always want to do one of them. So, like, to me, that's what I look forward to.
Yeah.
Is getting on the bike and out of the world of my job.
Well, Paul, you're kind of along those same lines, because you regularly talk about the fact that racing is your outlet.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily like, I can speak to myself where I love riding my bike. And at some point in my life, racing became a source of anxiety, which is just so weird because it was something that I would go, as Jackson would say, I would go to a line saying, "This is my race. I'm going to. I deserve to be here. This is me." I don't even think I ever said that. I just assumed that. But and Paul, you talk about the fact that racing is your.
I
you,
love it.
You
Yeah.
ride to race.
Yeah. In fact, my old teammates, we still keep in touch with texts and stuff, and we're talking about cycling money that was coming in with Red Bull on
Yeah.
Bora and stuff. And I said, somebody asked my opinion. I said, I promise I will land this plane. Hang in with me, guys. All right.
I'm going to
The
start.
door just blew off on this 737 Max.
Holy shit!
nice.
You're just nailing the references
Yeah.
tonight.
But anyway, they're sitting there, what do you think of, money being good? And I said, I think all sports have been involved with this, that money becomes the focus and not the passion. And the passion is what got me going.
Yeah.
And the passion to race. I really like riding my bike. I love racing. That is why sometimes I don't feel like riding my bike, but there's a race is what I'm aiming for, and that's what I love. Even when I get my teeth kicked in, there is something about that intensity, the adrenaline's pumping, trying to make split decisions. It's like what my dad, and I'll make this quick. My dad died in December 11th of 2015. The week before there, I went and I talked to him. I didn't know he was going to die. We just had a conversation about life, and he was talking about being a fighter pilot, and I was talking about racing bikes, and he goes, they're exactly the same.
Wow.
Because you know your weaknesses and your strength, and you use your strengths against other people's weaknesses. You wait for that moment. You try and get people to, make a fault where it opens doors, that type of thing. That is what fighter pilots. And I said, that is crit racing, 100%. And when you're on top of your game, I mean, I got goosebumps now talking about it. I just absolutely love that. So that's my drive, and that's my
That's your
motivation.
mental.
Yeah, exactly.
health.
And so I always have doldrums from October, November, December, because there's no race schedule.
Yeah.
Even if I can't do it, then now that races are coming in, it's like my mind's like, oh, I know this course. I know this is what I would do. I can't wait. And that's what feeds my soul. And that's what keeps me motivated and,
Wow.
going on.
Anybody get to the start line? Just asking for a friend. And and have the voice going, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this. I don't know why. It's come back. It is something that came to me in like the last 15 years.
I think that as a human being is only natural. I think that you show up to a place, especially where in a sport where you compare yourself so heavily to other people,
Yeah.
that showing up and saying, do I belong here? Like, pretty much asking the exact opposite of what I was talking about earlier. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do that.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's the sport is built on comparisons, and I think that it's just a part of it.
Yeah.
I think in your case, you went to the top very fast.
Wait, we're not talking about me.
No, this one person, your friend.
Oh, yeah,
your friend,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That they were at the top, and it was so easy, and then all of a sudden you got other distractions in life.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then because you were on top at one point, now it's like a judgment. People are like, oh yeah, he's not even, he doesn't have any more, or he's not. Yeah,
It's unbelievable how with cycling fitness, you can maintain it once you have it, but if you let it go, it is a mountain to try to reacclaim, and it's just an interesting process. Anyway, I'm going off topic, so but there we go. Talk to me about setbacks. Paul brought this up, and this was a good one, and I'm trying to keep track of time. When you're in your winter or even spring training, and something happens, physical thing,
Random block of
mental-
nights.
Yeah, random block of nights, atrial fibrillation, crashes. Yeah, Jackson, you dealing with, you dealt with those. Sam, you dealt with the big one in Hawaii where you took a slice out of your arm.
God, I was in such good form.
Yeah.
too.
David, your incident with the driver.
Yeah, fortunately, it was at the end of the year, but
Yeah, Paul, moving for F's sake.
Life,
Yeah, how do you guys
marriage.
That's a
good
good
one.
thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but it does.
But it's a training
But, yeah.
setback. It is.
Yeah. How do you guys deal with those types of setbacks and knowing that you're going to show up at the start line not where you wanted to be?
I mean, it's tough. Like last year was like, I think setbacks is an interesting word to use for it, but I think my crash was definitely like,
God damn it.
Should
Should we call them God damn it's?
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I wouldn't say marriage was a goddammit, but like,
Oh,
yeah.
blessings.
I think, I think that life. Well, no, I
My
think
first one I
Wasn't a
did.
blessing.
My first one.
God damn it!
I think I think that life and its process can bring just like detours. I think yeah,
Oh, God, that's so much better.
because I think that
Detours.
over the last year, the crash was definitely a setback. I don't want to use that as a detour. That sucked. Just in all aspects of it. The bike was gone, the fitness was gone, even the body hurt all the time. And
Yeah.
coming back from that, we talked about mentality. That is a ball of wax that is just an endless one. You can never take that apart, because once you crash and then get back into another race at the exact same level, you don't trust anyone anymore.
Gun
You don't
shy.
even trust
Yeah, yeah.
yourself anymore, and that sucks. And so, like, when we showed up to Missoula, I had all these hopes, and then
When you jump back into a race that's 10 times harder than the race you crashed in.
right, and so it's like I had these hopes of like maybe doing something productive, and then just all of that. I blame all of that fitness loss off of my crash. It was just kind of stripped away, and it felt a little weird. Wedding wise, though, I think that was what.
No, I was looking for the scream sound effect, but then you mentioned wedding, and I'm like,
Oh.
oh, no, won't do that.
Wedding wise, though, and like not for the crash for sure. That sound belongs with that.
Yeah. It just
For-
took me too long.
Yeah, for the wedding though, I think that's something that is you just as a fitness or not a fitness, but an endurance athlete, you have to accept and be okay with that. Something that's very special in your life is going to take time away from that. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the best month of my life, and I would never take that back, even if I got my teeth kicked in by Sam Boardman in Missoula. You know, like I will always have that memory now. But I think that don't stress yourself out. Be okay with having these life events, because you'll never get them back. You'll get that ride back someday, but be okay with the setback there.
Paul, I'm going to drop one of my F-bombs. When does next year, quote unquote, become, quote, fuck it, end quote?
Never.
Really?
He's
No.
dead.
No, I
Really?
mean, there's always the year goes on. You know, I had a pretty crappy year.
I
as
can
when it
put
comes
that on
to
your gravestone if you want.
was it a crappy year?
No, just fuck it.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
That's
go
when
bowling.
you're done.
Let's go bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck it, dude. Let's go. Bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, setbacks for me, they used to really disturb me. And it's funny, the reason why I kind of brought this topic up is in my 20s, it was cram session. Whether I got sick one time, I was aiming for LeGrand used to have a stage race, and I did well the year before. I knew the course. Like the crick course was my style, and I was just like totally jacked, and I got sick right before it. And then I was feeling good 2 days before I went down there, and I rode like I wasn't sick. And on the road race, I cramped up both quads and both hamstrings
Oh,
in
shit.
the middle of the road going, ugh, the CP style.
Yeah.
And and I had to drop out of the race. And it's just like, you know, that's it. I have to try. I was beating myself. I was never really recovering or, you know, like just a slow climb up to where I want to be.
Yeah.
And crashes, for me, I had 1 year, 1989. I think I had a total because we used to race a lot, I had 10 crashes, I mean big crashes, where you had to replace stuff in that year. And I would say 2 of them were probably my fault, but the rest were wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
Like replacing handlebars, center
Wow.
bolts for,
Yeah.
I mean, wheels, replacing wheels, just massive crashes. And it didn't bother me, but then it was like 2 years later in 91, now my life has changed. I'm married. God damn it, to this first one, and and so now I know that if I crash because I had the money involved,
Yeah.
it's going to take a while. It's not
Yeah.
like I'm just supporting myself on my cycling. Now I have to like budget my money, and then I'm freaking out. Now I've got not only I don't want to hit the pavement, I don't want to waste money. I'm
It
making
changes
it,
how
it
you
alters,
race.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it really spoiled it for me, and it took me a while for me to get over that. It was called a divorce, and after that, I was good again.
Freedom!
Yeah, I could just crash all I want.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. But
I mean, speaking personally, AFib set me back. It could have set me back, I don't know, a lot longer, but at least 10 weeks. And I don't think I ever got that back this last year. Yeah, I mean, I was trailing from you guys the whole time. And I joke about the inner demons in my skull, but they were riding pretty hard this year, and it was a challenge to keep going, especially because even after the 10 weeks, there were times like Jackson and I would go for a ride, and all of a sudden I just pop, my heart goes back in AFib. I'm like, God damn it, and I can't ride. We had to have a car come pick me up, and I remember we were driving back. I was in the car. You kept riding.
Yeah.
And I was in the car, in the back seat of the car, and my wife and my mother-in-law are in the front seat. And Nigel pulls up beside us, and the back windows are tinted. So I'm sitting there behind a tinted window, and I'm looking at Nigel, who's a local cyclist. And he's looking up at my bike on the roof. And I think he's like, God, is that Bulger's bike? And I roll down my window, and he looks at me and goes, what's wrong? I'm like, yeah, I went out for a ride. I'm back into AFib. And he just mouthed the words, I'm so sorry. And it was perfect. Because Nigel's always been the first person in the world to bust my balls. Whether I want it or not, he's busted my balls. And though those setbacks are really effing hard to come back from. And so it's, Sam, your crash was probably that
wasn't. I mean, I didn't even think that was that bad because I could hop back on the bike. It was more.
You knew you were going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit traumatizing in the moment because of blood.
Yeah.
But besides that, that wasn't too bad. It shook me up a little, but I was back at riding when I got back.
Yeah.
David and I put bandages on, and I still had stitches and everything, and I went out and rode.
Yeah.
So.
David, can I ask you about the incident with the car?
Yeah.
Because people who don't know, there was a dickhole driver who just decided to take out his unparalleled rage upon you guys. And we don't have to go too far into detail because I don't want to bug you about it, because I know it was probably an emotional moment where somebody drives you off the road with intent to probably kill you. And when it came down to it, the person was very lightly, if not punished at all.
Yeah. Slap on the wrist.
How do you recover from something like that is a gigantic emotional toll on something we all take for granted, the ability to just go out for a bike ride?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about while you guys are talking, because my biggest, I think the thing that I try to take with me is not to have expectations in life, because it's hard to be let down if you don't have expectations. That's actually advice from a college friend, a very good friend, who just told me to not expect things of people, because the more you expect, the more they're going to the more chance there is for them to let you down. The more you expect from your cycling career, the more you expect things to go a certain way, the more opportunity you have to be upset, and the harder it is for you to pivot.
It's a very glass half empty kind of a perspective, though, don't you think?
Well, no, I just don't. That you don't set expectations, and then if something goes awry, you just pivot. You do something, You're like,
it doesn't mean not setting goals.
But
You can have
people
your
are going
goals,
to let you down?
no, you just don't. It's not that you just don't expect too much from people, or you don't expect too much from your season or your ability to perform. You just kind of be there, and then when things go a certain way, you
Be
pivot.
the ball, Danny.
Okay.
Be the ball.
Be the ball.
But that being
Right in the
said,
lumberyard.
what was tough about that was that it's hard not to expect people to at least respect your life and your safety and your right to exist.
Yeah.
So that was hard to get over. It it still is at times. We hear about people in our community dying every year from drivers that aren't paying attention, or it's usually not paying attention. There's not a lot of malicious intent out there, but that's to be honest, that still takes work every single ride. That particular part takes work every single ride.
Yeah.
But and maybe ask me in a year and I'll tell you how I got through it. But I think about it every ride. That particular bit.
Mm-hmm.
When I have setbacks in my training, when or a crash, I do think that lack of expectations of how my season's going to go, how I'm going to do in a race like Montana, I had no idea. Sam's over here talking a big game. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I'm just going out to race, and I feel like I was really happy. I didn't do that great. I think I got like 6th or 7th in a road race, and I was stoked with that because I had zero expectations.
You sucked in the crit.
I sucked in the crit, but I had no expectations, so it didn't matter. I was not let down by that.
Sam, meanwhile, is at the front of the crit going, "Get the hell up here!"
I was 0% let down by that.
David
though.
didn't even, yeah, because he didn't even
I was
hear
like,
it. He was so far back.
okay.
So far back.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our special segments of this show. First and foremost, time for Fit Tips with Bike Fit Sam, brought to us by Ambassador Cycling. Get to ambassadorcycling.com. And by the way, if you look Ambassador and Cycling, usually it is full of all kinds of people like, I want to be an ambassador. But your website comes up like first or second on the Google search. By the way. Yeah. You're kicking ass. Tonight's question is about pedal to foot measurements.
Did we just play which theme was that?
That was
The Ambassador theme?
for now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we played the wrong theme. Okay, I was getting really defensive.
No.
Hang on, I was
It
sorry.
wasn't
I
the
thought I heard
doctor.
the curtain. I thought I heard the curtain.
No,
I was like,
You heard
I was
ding,
zoning
the
out.
bell.
I was gonna.
I'm going to my trailer.
I was gonna flip a bitch. All right, continue. Sorry. What are we doing? Pedal
Tonight's
height?
question about pedal to foot measurements, and these ones came from a pro. Since the contact point on the pedal is on the ball of your foot, how important are proper arch supports in cycling shoes? Because I have a gigantic arch. It is like a wave. It is huge, and I wear footbeds in my shoes because I always thought it was because of the foot collapsing, the arch collapsing to cause a power transfer problem. But I never even thought about how it relates to the ball of your foot and supporting that arch and supporting that pressure point. So, Sam, your theories?
Man, there is a lot to this. So your foot will collapse. We've created a very rigid sole for cycling. Is why we've pretty much all migrated to carbon soles, because you don't want that extra flex. That's where a lot of that pain will come from. So putting arch support, if you don't at the very least have a carbon sole, the arch support is doing jack diddly. Right? So, like, if you have carbon soles, you're still having arch pain. Yeah, your foot's probably collapsing. And so, yeah, I would recommend probably getting an insole. Superfeet makes some very inexpensive, low-profile ones that fit in cycling shoes well. But the other thing that you can do is also just move the cleat posterior to put it so that it's closer up underneath plantar fascia, and bring it more into the midfoot, and that will also alleviate some of that issue. But then you won't necessarily, your foot won't collapse as much likely. It's when you're walking around on the balls of your foot, which is the equivalent of when we're pedaling, right? Like if we were just walking around on the balls of our feet, you're going to see that your foot collapse every single time. But like if you look at a marathon runner, their foot collapses too. They get some torsion from that projects them forward. There's a whole bunch of biomechanics out there about this. But in a cycling shoe, that isn't really necessarily the same case. So
Wow.
I would say, like, to wrap it up, if you're not at least on a carbon sole, which, like, I mean, I know they're expensive, but also you can get them for pretty cheap. Like look up Lake, look up Bont, look up all these like $500 shoes, and they're always clearing them out for at most a couple $100 if they're a season old, right? Like just look up Carbon shoe and you'll find something for like 200 or under, and that's like one of the best investments you can make, I think, from a fitting standpoint, because it gives you a solid base.
Paul, remember all the plastic? I had Patrick shoes because, first of all, it's my name, and second of all, Bernardino had them, and they were blue and they were cool. And I swear, if I wanted to, I could touch the heel to the toe. I could bend the shoe that badly. They were so bad, and I raced.
Did you have terrible like plantar fasciitis from that?
No, I was just. I was young and cocky.
Yeah.
I didn't let it bother me.
I had Ravats, the Charlie Motte.
Yeah, those were
Ravats.
beautiful shoes.
But you could flex those.
You could
too.
flex them.
I couldn't.
The plastic.
It wasn't that one. Yeah,
it was all plastic.
Yeah.
I'm looking
There's
at
no
the
carbon.
the Dettos over there that came from Gabriel, but those are plastic.
Yeah.
But
I remember starting, they were leather.
And that there was wood too.
Yeah.
Track riders use wood.
Yeah,
They had wood.
that's how
crazy.
old
Yeah.
we are.
Gosh, man.
And you actually hammered the cleat into
Yeah.
place.
Yeah,
Wow.
You put a nail.
Was sliced bread like a big deal?
when
It wasn't even invented.
when it came
It
out.
wasn't even a thing.
When it came out, changed the
And
fucking
don't get
game.
you started on the wheel.
No, those were already
That was
there.
crazy
Obviously, I mean, come on, those were
And
already there.
and it's still
Jackson,
it was tubular and it still should be tubular.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Tubeless.
Yeah, and when you were
No.
true in your wheels, you get a splinter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did have wood rims.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not so
yeah.
important. Is basically
Not so important. There's other things that I would do, and there's other
The
like
stiffness.
metatarsal pads. Yeah, stiffness is way more important than putting it. And some people have actually done. They've paid like $150 for like carbon insoles that
Yeah.
they then put in cheap shoes. I'm not kidding you. I've seen this, and I'm like,
just get a better shoe.
get a better shoe. You're trying,
Yeah,
You're trying to polish a turd here.
A lot of the shoes I'm seeing now come with multiple arch inserts
Yep.
that you can put into your shoes, and
That's,
that's
what triggered it. I'm
brilliant.
like, really?
Yeah,
The G-Force is a company that has produced multiple different arch supports
Yeah.
and then angles that you can adjust each independently, right and left.
that's what I love about it is because I have a high arch and I don't notice it in terms of power transfer. I notice in terms of cramping.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if my arch is collapsing on every pedal stroke, it'll start to hurt after a while.
Yeah.
And I notice it more indoors than outdoors. Probably because of position shift
Yeah.
and being able to get out of the saddle more often.
Yeah.
Things like that. All right, David's looking at his watch because he just wants to hear.
Okay,
Wants
I
to
was
pee.
just
Here, listen.
worried that I was zoned out a little, and I thought maybe used the wrong one for Sam. You know?
See, because you talk during the whole thing, I can't even talk over it and give you the proper introduction.
Oh,
That it is time for Dr. David.
This is a professional
Fucking amateurs,
podcast.
Jesus. You know, I'm a professional broadcaster, and I'm surrounding myself with a bunch of morons.
Yeah.
But Jackson.
I was
Jackson's
gonna
good.
say,
Jackson knows his
there's
shit.
one other
Jackson knows his
professional
shit.
here.
saying that.
Yeah.
Jackson knows his shit. With the large outbreak of respiratory infections such as RSV, flu, and COVID, is it okay to continue training if infected? And at what point do you suggest returning? Or at what point do you suggest returning to training? And lastly, is there a potential of doing harm if you train through or return to training too early? So all these respiratory shit that's messing with our systems
Yeah.
is what do you think in terms of the classic? I mean, Phil Gaiman posted the other day he had something removed from his upper thigh, and he was and his joke was talking to his doctor saying, do I just tell him straight out, okay, I'm going to go riding on this as soon as possible? How do you tell me? How do you accommodate for that, as opposed to how long do I have to wait to train? You know, do you
Right.
see what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah,
the difference
yeah,
between I'm effing training as opposed to how long does the doctor say I have to train? So with this RSV and flu and COVID effing with our lungs, what are your thoughts?
So there's, all three of these are, like you said, respiratory illnesses. So I think that the train of thought here is we're worried about damaging the lungs when they're already, undergoing damage from the virus and its replication. I think a good rule of thumb with any illness is above the neck. If you have symptoms above the neck, you're okay to train. If you have symptoms below the neck, you should probably be resting. Yeah. So what that means is like headaches, if you're having runny nose, cough, that sort of thing, it's probably okay to get on the bike.
Massive head wounds.
Massive gushing head wounds, like massive head loss. Yeah.
There's pus coming out of your ears.
Yeah, pus in the ears. That we're talking about respiratory illness. But if you're vomiting, if you're coughing, coughing up a ton of sputum, that's different. That I'm going to say.
What's sputum?
Sputum, like phlegm.
Loogies.
Schmutz from your lungs.
Schmutz.
Yeah, I like that.
Looks like boogers, but it came from your throat. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Who's hungry?
Yeah.
Brown, green, yellow.
Yeah, okay.
Those things.
Okay.
Fevers, diarrhea, that sort of thing. You probably should be resting. Okay. When you're ill, your body is using whatever reserve you have to fight off the illness. So the biggest thing is that if you have, if you're in the active acute phase of some sort of illness where you are coughing up phlegm, you have a fever, that sort of thing, you should divert all resources to getting better. You probably should not train. That being said, these RSV, flu, COVID, they can have lingering symptoms like a sore throat and cough for weeks to months. Mm-hmm. So it's okay to get back on the bike as you're able to, as you can tolerate it. Like you understand that your body's probably still fighting something off and your fatigue levels might be higher. So you might not be able to do what you used to do. But it's okay to get back on a bike. There's obviously the portion of you probably shouldn't go training with people when you're actively ill, but if you're in your basement on a trainer or whatever, or outside riding alone, that's probably fine, but don't get your friends sick. And then risk for long-term damage. I think that the viruses themselves, and whether or not you're going to have long-term damage is kind of predetermined by your genetics and your overall health. And your vaccination status. I don't think that you're going to make it worse by exercising. So if you somehow manage to get on a bike while you're actively fevering and vomiting, what's going to happen is you're going to prolong your illness. You're not going to damage your lungs permanently, but you're probably going to prolong your illness, which is in the end just going to hurt your fitness.
So in the long run, I like the rule. If it's above your,
but if the symptoms are above your neck, you probably find to at least train as to the level that you're tolerating.
That brings us back to Hereditary. And there's a moment in that movie which is above the neck, and it really is.
Is that the movie where it's like the scene where the grandma or this like old lady's like eating the kid's head? Is that the same movie? There's another movie. There's another movie
not
that
eating the kid's head.
That's
but
good.
But the grandma's involved.
Well, they always are.
Yeah, the grandma's. All right. You guys. Is this the one, Paul?
Yes, it is.
This is the one you like. Brings us to the end of another Pack Filler podcast. I hope you truly liked coming into the studio. And welcome to the Pack Filler Lounge. I'm Fuzzy Pat.
You.
The pink pianist.
Pink pianist.
You guys, I do have to ask you guys eventually about this idea that I was going to talk about tonight about fondos becoming races, fondos becoming true races, and I'll bring that up next week because I'm going to push that out to another time. So, gentlemen, thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
And be sure to subscribe to the show as well as our YouTube channel. It really helps with our business model. Tell a friend, give us a rating, and I guess that's it. We'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. Sam, by the way, get some sleep because you're yawning the whole fucking show.
It's rough.
And be on time next time.
Yeah, you were late and you're yawning.
Au revoir.